Good morning children, how are you all? I hope that all of you are fine. So let us study more about secularism. You know that secularism that is given more importance in our country. What is secularism? Secularism here means all religions are treated equally. No religion is inferior, no religion is superior. All religions treated equally, and equality will be given importance to this all the religions. That is practiced in India. That is why we may say that India is a secular nation. And no religion dominate other religions. Suppose one religion is majority religions, that is the majority religions. That religion says that we are the majority religions, and minority religion will obey whatever we will say, and majority religion we are the majority religion in our majority religion in India. We are the majority religion in India, and whatever we will say that will be obeyed by these minor communities. Minor communities will obey the words of majority communities. If any type of these kinds of things will happen, these kinds of arguments will happen, definitely that what says our preamble of the constitution here says that our country is a secular state, our country is a secular nation. As per the secular nation or secularism, all religions are treated equally, whether you may belongs to upper caste, you may belongs to lower caste, you may belongs to majority religion, you may belongs to minority. That doesn't matter. All religions given equal choice and equal opportunities and equally treated. That we can call as secularism. That we can call as secularism. Now we understood the importance of secularism. What is secularism? Here, one religion never dominate other religion. Majority, suppose if majority religion says that we are majority religion, the minority religion you will go from this country, because here majority religion only need. Other minority religion you can go from our country, go from India. If any majority religion will say like this, they were acting against secularism. As a secular nations, they are against it as a secular nation, because they violate the rules and regulations of our country. Majority religion or minority religion, whoever may be, they have equal chances, they have equal opportunities, they have equality. No religion is superior, no religion is inferior. So one religion never dominated other religion. One religion never dominated other religion. We have to respect other religions. Religious harmony is very essential. Moreover, never said communalism, or we can say that never spread any kind of emotions to fight between the religious sections. So Hindu, Muslim, Christianity, these peoples never fight each other. If anybody tried to lit fire on communalism, or if anybody tried to lit fire on communalism, definitely that person is against our country's law. Because you can believe, I can believe, no problem. I can worship, you can worship. You may be Hindu, I may be Islamic religion. I may be Christian religion, you may be Islam religion. That doesn't matter. All these people are people of our country. We are giving importance to humanity rather than religious diversifications. Diversity is very essential on the basis of religious practice, on the basis of caste. All these differences may be there, but we never practice these kinds of communalism in our country, because that is against our country's law. All religions, they can practice, propagate their religion, they can worship their religions, they will be considered equally, and one religion never dominated other religion. One religion never dominated other religion. That is the importance of secularism. Next, state does not enforce any religion. State never does not enforce any religion. Suppose state says that only Hinduism that is needed in our country. Other religious sections of the people, they leave our country. They will go any other country. They won't leave in our country. They can't say like this. Because our what the constitution says that our country is a secular nation, and as per the amendment, 42nd amendment, what says in the preamble, our country is a secular nation, sir. So that never enforced by the state to give importance to one religion. State never interfere. That is non-interference. No need to interfere the affairs of the religious sections of the people. If they worship Hinduism, okay, let them. If they want to believe Christianity, let them believe. That is their choice. But they were considered only they were human beings. That's all. Our state never interfere. State does not enforce or enforce any religion. State never say that this is the only religion, majority religion, so that all people will believe this religion only. State never enforce any religion. Next, that independent rights are there. Individual rights. Independent rights here means individual rights. Each and every citizen of India, they have individual rights. They can worship as per their wish. They can believe any religions. Nobody can stop them by believing any religions. But forcibly, we will not by threatening. If you will not believe this religion, definitely we will believe. That is threatening. Threatening or giving money to influence and to forcibly converting, that is not allowed. That is secularism here means that you can propagate, you can believe, you can give importance to your religion. That doesn't matter. But it never hurt the feelings of other religious sections of the people. Other sections of the people, they also have the right to live in our country. Right to live. They have also right to live. That is a fundamental right. Right to live. Right to worship. Right to worship. Right to live. That is our fundamental rights. So that we can't hurt or we can harm any other religious sections of people. If they are Hindu, let them be Hindus. If they are Christian, let them worship. So that whoever may be, they belong to any community, they can worship, believe, propagate their religions. They can celebrate their religious festivals. We can also participate in that religious festival. If Christians celebration that Christmas, maybe that if Christians celebrate Christmas, Hindus can celebrate. Islam religions, those who believe in Islamic religion, they can also celebrate this Christmas. So all the religious festivals, everybody can believe and everybody can celebrate religious festivals. Nobody will object. Nobody will make any kind of harm to these kinds of things. In India, all religious people, they can worship, they can practice religion, they can celebrate religious festivals. They can celebrate Onam, Christmas, Holi, Diwali. All these festivals also they can celebrate. So we have enough freedom. So secularism gives freedom to all these sections of people. Then steps to protect the secularism. Next topic we are discussing, steps to protect the secularism. How to protect the secularism in India? Nowadays we are facing the most important problems. Some people, they are trying to inject communalism, and they want to fight between Hindus and Muslims, between Christians and Muslims. These kinds of communalism is against secularism. Communalism is definitely against secularism. Communalism, what communalism? Their ideas, communist ideas, those who believe in communalism, those who want to make fight between Hindus and Muslims, they were spreading communalism. Communalism here it means that they want to fight between these people. They want to make the people divided. They want to those who spread the communalism. They want to divide people on the basis of religion. Hindu people, Christian people, Muslim people, Parsi people, Jains, Zoroastrians. So they want on the basis of religion, never segregate or separate people on the basis of religion. On the basis of religion, never separate. Secularism says that everybody having equal power. So we never segregate or separate people on the basis of religion. That is communalism. That is against secularism. Communalism is against secularism. Next one. So state want to protect secularism. State want to protect secularism. State never interfere spaces like court, police station, schools, etc. State never interfere. Suppose if a minor community they want to start a school, let them start a school. There is no problem. They can start schools. But they never convert the students, or they never force or threaten the students to join their own community. Schools will not do such kinds of things. In schools, you know that there exists secularism. All students, they can attend the schools, they can study, they can dine together, they can sit together, they can play each other. There is nobody separated. And you are Hindu, you are Christian student, you are Hindu students, you are Muslim students. All teachers consider all students equally, and only one name, that is students, rather than Hindu students, Muslim students, or any other sections we never separate. Because in schools, state never interfere in schools and never say that only one religion only propagate and spread, other religion, that is only Supreme state never interfere. That is called non-interference. State want to protect secularism. State says that never interfere spaces like court, police stations, then schools, etc. So state always give importance to protect secularism. State never interfere in the schools, police stations, court, etc. If suppose if a state says that one religion only want to establish, that is against our secularism. Secularistic countries always give importance to all religions, and state never interfere in the spaces like court, police station, schools, etc. Next, state want to protect secularism by not interfering in the affairs of our country, especially not interfering in certain areas. For people, they can worship, they can worship, and they can believe their own religion. Nobody can interfere in that religion. Nobody can interfere their religion. So try to understand that state, their strategy was of non-interference, not interfering the affairs of the religion. State never interfere the affairs of the religion. State never interfere the affairs of the religions. State want to protect all religions, not only one religion. State want to protect all religions. If you belong to Hindu, no problem. Christian, no problem. Islam, no problem. Parsi, no problem. Jains, no. Zoroastrians, no problems. Buddhists, no problems. Jewish people, no problem. So you can believe any religion. State protect all religions equally. No religion is inferior, no religion is superior. So state aim was to protect secularism in our country. Next, equal inheritance right. State want to protect inheritance rights should be equal. Suppose if you may be Hindu and you are as per the inheritance, the children will be given equally inheritance, they will get. Hindu, Muslim, Christian, or whatever may be, that doesn't matter. Equal inheritance rights will be given. Moreover, all communities, their inheritance same. Hindu community or Christian community or Muslim community, that they have equal rights. Hindu community's right is not more than Christian community. Christian community's right is not more than Muslim community. So all these communities, they have equal inheritance power and equal inheritance rights. That is very important. State want to, what it means? It means that state want to protect all religions. State want to protect all religions. State never interfere. State is free from that religion. State is free from the religion. It means that the state never interfere the affairs of religion. Religions, they can practice, propagate, celebrate their religious festivals. No problem at all. State will not interfere. But state will interfere if any religious sections or communities spread communalism. Definitely state will interfere. That is against our democratic secularism. If anybody want to spread terrorism and said that our religion only is the best religion, other religious sections we will kill them, and other section peoples are inferior, definitely state Why? Terrorism is against secularism. Terrorism is against secularism, so state will interfere. Communalism is against secularism, definitely state will interfere. But normally state will not interfere the affairs of the religion if they worship. Okay, let them worship. If they propagate, let them propagate. If they want to spread their ideas, let them. If they want to teach their ideas, let them. So the state will not interfere. But if anybody try to spread communalism, if anybody try to spread terrorism, definitely state will interfere. Definitely state will interfere. Why? Because that is against the true spirit of secularism. That is against the true spirit of secularism. That is definitely against the true spirit of secularism. You know, now I hope that you understood what is the importance of the true spirit of secularism. True spirit of secularism here means that secularism will be safeguarded and protected. State want to safeguard and protect secularism in our country. If anybody try to violate the ideas and policies of secularism, they will be punished. Definitely they will be punished. Why definitely they want to punish? Because that is against secularism. Secularism is an important aspect now. That is the reason 130 crores of people, they are living in peace and harmony. They are living in peace and harmony. More than 130 crores of people, they have in different sections, Hindu, Muslim, Chinese, and Persian. They are living very harmoniously. They are living friendly. They are maintaining friendly relations. How it is possible? Other countries, they may be astonished how in India practice these kinds of things. How it is harmonious relationship, how these people are maintaining. It is the true spirit of secularism. That is the true spirit of secularism. True spirit of secularism here means that we want to safeguard, state want to protect secularism. If anybody try to make communalism or religious disparities between other communities, or creating the situation to fight between many communities, definitely they are against the true spirit of secularism. Secularism should be safeguarded and protected. Then only we can live peacefully in our country. India, you know that India is a peace-loving country. We maintaining harmonious relationship. We maintain harmony in our country. Religious harmony. Which harmony? Religious harmony in our country. Next I want to describe the story of Om Prakash Valmiki. Have you heard the story of Om Prakash Valmiki? Who was Om Prakash Valmiki? Om Prakash Valmiki, he is born in Uttar Pradesh, and this boy, when he was a small child, Om Prakash Valmiki, when he goes to school, he got different kinds of inequalities on the basis of religion. Om Prakash Valmiki, when he go to the schools, other children won't allow him to sit. Rather than this, school authorities won't allow Om Prakash Valmiki to sit with the other children. That is important. So you try to understand. When Om Prakash Valmiki, he belongs to a Dalit community. Dalit communities were considered as lower community or inferior community, and this Dalit community, or the otherwise called untouchables. These untouchables or Dalit community, Om Prakash Valmiki belongs to Dalit community. When he goes to the school, that time school authorities never allow him to sit him with other children. Never allow him to sit with the other children. And normally where he sit near the door. He is sitting near the door. Other children at the same time, they are sitting their chairs, or they are sitting their benches. At the same time, here this Om Prakash Valmiki, poor Om Prakash Valmiki, sit near the door, and the teacher will always focus on other children. Never ask Om Prakash Valmiki whether he listened or not or anything like that. The teacher never minded about this poor innocent boy. And moreover, the principal will ask Om Prakash Valmiki to clean all windows of the schools, to clean it, to wash it, to clean the windows, and to sweep the classroom, and to ask him to sweep the classroom, ask him to even a big ground is there. That ground, one day he was asked to sweep the ground also. This boy was asked. This poor boy without much ability or much health. This poor boy was asked to sweep a big school ground. This poor boy is sweeping that ground. That time, Om Prakash Valmiki's father, he saw that his son was sweeping that big ground. He became very much angry. Who became very much angry? Om Prakash Valmiki's father became very angry. He went to office along with his child and asked the principal, why you treat my child like this? Why you do like this? So that then he said in his autobiography. What was the autobiography? The autobiography written by Om Prakash Valmiki. That is Juthan. That is the autobiography written by Om Prakash Valmiki. Later on, this Om Prakash Valmiki became a writer and poet. Later on, this Om Prakash Valmiki became a great writer and poet. In his book, Juthan, he describes his sufferings, difficulties. What are the sufferings he suffered in schools? What are the difficulties he faced in the schools? He said that even he won't allow to sit with other children. Even he won't allow to. He was asked to sit near the door. He was asked to sweep all the classroom. He was asked to clean all these windows and other areas. He was asked to do such things. And at the same time, other children, they were sitting and they were learning all these things. They never mind about this small innocent child. What is the reason? Because he belongs to a noble caste. You know that untouchability that was abolished in the year 1949 in India. Untouchability that was banned in the year 1949. Even though that untouchability abolished in 1949, that also later on is practiced in many schools. Best example, Om Prakash Valmiki. Om Prakash Valmiki suffered a lot due to the discrimination. Which discrimination? Caste discrimination. He was a prey to caste discrimination. Om Prakash Valmiki was a prey to caste discrimination. Om Prakash Valmiki was a victim of Om Prakash Valmiki was a victim of caste discrimination. So that later on what happens? Then Om Prakash Valmiki's father said that you are a teacher. That is why he said he did not complete it. He did not complete that. Then he said that like Om Prakash Valmiki, many children will study this school. Who said Om Prakash father? Om Prakash Valmiki's father said that same like my son, so many children will study in this school. So he said like this. Why he said so? Because his son got to do a lot of difficulties due to caste discrimination in that school. That is why he said that like Om Prakash Valmiki, many children will educate from the schools and they will study in the school. He said so. So he was a victim of caste discrimination. So, but never practice caste discrimination in schools. Yes, I told you that state never interfere. Spaces like court, police station, even schools, etc. So even schools, etc. That is why I told the story of Om Prakash Valmiki. All these difficulties he wrote in his book. Which book? Juthan. That is an autobiography of Om Prakash Valmiki. Whatever the sufferings, what are the difficulties he suffered in schools, that is written in the book Judhan. Judhan, never forget which is that book Judhan. That is an autobiography of Om Prakash Varma. Later on he became a great poet as well as a great writer. Next I am going to describe another story of Mr. and Mrs. Ansari. You may be heard about this story, Mr. and Mrs. Ansari. Mr. and Mrs. Ansari, when they got a good job, they want to go to the city. They find a room or they find a house, new house. That time so they were searching for new house. They approached one lady, landowner or a lady. They approached her, and the lady promised that she will be ready to give a room. So they when they went to see her, she said that you do one thing, I will give you room, but you change your name. You must change it. Mr. and Mrs. Ansari, they must change their name. If they change their name only, they will get a room, they will get a house or room. They will get a rented room or rented house after they change their name. Why this happened? Because they think that Mr. and Mrs. Ansari, they will eat meat. They will eat meat. But these people are Hindu, Orthodox Hindus are there. These communities, they were against these kinds of practices of eating or meat or anything like that. So they may think that these Mr. and Mrs. Ansari belongs to that Muslim community. They will also like this. So that they never gave rooms, and they said that we are ready to give you room. First you change your name, Mr. and Mrs. Ansari, as Mr. and Mrs. Kumar. Just change the name, Mr. and Mrs. Kumar, so that people will think that these those who are trying to get this room, they were Hindus. Only for one reason only they won't get a room. What is that reason? They belongs to Muslim community. They belongs to Muslim community only. Mr. and Mrs. Ansari will not get a room, rather than any other things. Only just they become Muslims community. They belongs to Muslim community. For that silly reason, they were not allowed to get a room. This is happening not in any other country. This is happening in our secular country, India. These kinds of inequalities that is happening. Even though that untouchability that was banned in the year 1949 also, these kinds of practices are still going on in certain places. Some exceptional cases in India also you can see such kind of cases. In that time, sometimes you may ask, you are saying that untouchability is not existing in our country. Caste discrimination is not existing in our country. But caste system is prevalent in some areas. Why this happens? So, yes, I won't say that caste system is not existing anywhere in India. I won't say. I can't say that caste system is not existing anywhere in India. Even in Kerala also, caste system is not existing. How can I say? I can't say, because through many examples, I can say that caste system is existing in a certain extent, not much extent. In a certain extent, caste system is existing now in Kerala also. I can prove it in Kerala also that caste system is existing. Best example, matrimonial code. Take the example of matrimonial codes. Nayar boy, 26 years old, Nayar boy, IT diploma, seek alliance from the same caste. What is that? Caste. That is only caste system. Caste system is existing because he want denomination from the same community. Nayar caste want the same Nayar caste. What it shows? It shows nothing but a caste system. Caste system is in a certain extent. Caste system is existing. Suppose a Nayar boy, 26 years old, diploma holder, seek any other community or no religious bond. Okay, no problem. No religious bond. Any community can approach. Any community, he is ready to marry from any community. No problem. No caste system. But you go through this advertisement, matrimonial advertisement, go through this matrimonial column. Definitely you can see that Christian boys, Christian believer want the same denomination, same caste, and need British even not only caste system, even this that apartheid, so apartheid or otherwise we can say color discrimination also that is existing in India. The best example matrimonial column. British lady want British lady seek alliance. What it shows, it means that white color or British color, British color, white fair lady, 21 years old. What it shows, color discrimination, nothing but color discrimination. Then same denomination, seek same alliance. What it shows, it means that now also caste system is best example matrimonial column. Other than this caste system exists. So if you know that in Tamil Nadu recently so many lower caste people were murdered due to caste discrimination. Due to caste discrimination, so many people they may lose their life. How? Because their child maybe belongs to upper caste. Their child they belongs to upper caste. So this child also may be upper caste. So that this child is he want to marry from any other lower community lady. So with a love affair, he married a lower caste lady or a lower caste, vice versa also happened. So that times the parents came to know that this boy married from any other lower caste community, so that they may plan to kill that boy. All of a sudden they kill that those who belongs to lower caste, that maybe male or female will be killed. That shows caste discrimination. That is nothing but caste discrimination. That is communalism. That is caste discrimination. That is caste discrimination, because they think that their caste, that is upper caste, if they want their children won't marry from any other community, if their children marry from any other community, that is very much shameful to them, so that they may plan to kill that those who from that lower caste person, whether male or female, but whoever may be, they may kill that person. So that is what is that kind of murder we can call it as on the basis of communalism, on the basis of religious disparities, on the basis of religion, on the basis of separating, on the basis of religion. That is nothing but a caste system. That is caste system. Caste system is prevalent now also in India. We can see even some cases that found in Kerala also. Even in some cases that found in Kerala also, you can see that on the basis of caste, killing other caste communities. These are, and moreover, spreading of religious communalism, spreading through media, spreading religious communalism. So media spreading that we are majority communities, other sections of people did not have any kinds of power to live in our country. They have any morality to live other lower communities or other minor communities. They have no moral right to live here. That is nothing but communalism. That is spreading terrorism. People, all these people, they are human beings. We want to show humanity rather than these kinds of communalism. Let the children, let children to study each other. Hindu, Muslim community, Christian community. Let all these children sit together. Let all these children share their food. Let them live religious harmonious relationship. Let them live in a peaceful way. Let them live harmonious relationship. Nothing at all. But we want to practice and propagate such kinds of. We want to spread peace, love, peace, and harmony rather than these kinds of communalism, rather than spreading terrorism in our country. So communalism is against secularism. Terrorism is against secularism. A narrow mind of religious views. What is narrow mind of religious views? Next is narrow mind of religious views. What is narrow mind of religious views? Broad mind of religious views, that is helpful to our country. But narrow mind of religious views, that is against our country. The parents, they may say that we belongs to upper caste. So my child or our children never mingle with other children. So we are, when these small child hear these words, their mind created that we are something superior than other children. They never mingle with the other children. So the social contact may lose. Social contact may lose. This child mind created a narrow outlook or narrow view. Narrow-minded view will be created among these children. That will not create the children. Even it may be in school, or even it may be from the side of parents, even it may be from the side of teachers. These kinds of things will not entertain such kinds of things. Om Prakash Valmiki got a lot of sufferings, lot of difficulties, because he belongs to a lower community or a Dalit community. That is why he suffered a lot. Next, Mr. and Mrs. Ansari. Look at the example of Mr. and Mrs. Ansari. They belongs to a Muslim community. That is the only reason they won't get a room. They rented room. They won't get a rented room. So 1 month they searched for different rooms. Nobody dared to give room. At last, one landlady offered a room. Because of their name only, in our country, in our secular state, the secular nation, these things that happens. So why we are studying about secularism? We want 4 marks. You may say that we want secularism. What is secularism? We want to know. What is the importance of secularism? We want to know. Why practicing secularism? We want to know. And we want to get good marks in the examination. Rather than this, not only studying all these aspects, when we study about all these concepts and aspects, while learning this, while studying this, we have to put into practice. That is important. We have to put into practice. We have a broader outlook that all sections of the peoples, all religious sections of the peoples, we must respect them. If I am a Hindu, I must respect the Christians and Muslims. If I am a Muslim, I must respect other religion also. All religions will be treated equally. All religions will be respected. Even from parent or children, they must respect all religions and maintain harmonious or friendly relationship with the other religion, so that we can protect secularism in our countries. Even though we are studying all these things, that may be in our mind. We will write an examination. We will score good marks. Is that enough? Why these kinds of concepts are teaching in schools? Children will understand about the importance of secularism and to practice in their life. Even though children, not only children, even teachers also practice secularism. Never practice communalism. Never practice these kinds of terrorism. But even practice secularism in our country, so that all these sections of the peoples, they can live they can live in a better way, in a better way, and they can live in a good way, so that we can maintain love, peace, harmony in our countries, so that only we can maintain that our country, India, is a peace-loving country, and we only these kinds of things we can entertain, like love, peace, and harmony. Mr. and Mrs. Ansaris, they were due to only one reason. Which reason? They belongs to Muslim communities. That is why they were asked to change their name as Mr. and Mrs. Kumar. So that I hope that you understood all these concepts about secularism. First of all, today we discussed about secularism. What is secularism? Secularism here means that all religions are treated equally. All religions are equal. No religion is inferior and no religion is superior. 42nd Amendment in our country that says that India is a secular nation. What is secular nation? It means that all religions can practice in our country. All people, they can worship their own views, ideas about their religion. They can propagate their religion. Next, no religion then dominate other religions. All religions are equal. All religions, they can propagate their religion, spread their ideas. They can practice their ideas. They can celebrate their religious festivals. No problem. State does not enforce anything. The state never enforces one religion. State is giving importance to one religion. Never enforce one religion. State want to protect all religions. Next, steps to protect the secular. What are the steps taken by our government to protect secularism? So, state never interfere spaces like both the police stations also. State never interfere the markets in the schools, police stations, etc. And state never say that one religion is only superior. State never say that. State give freedom to these institutions. Given freedom, so they can function smoothly. But these institutions never show. These institutions like government, police station, schools never show any kinds of partiality on the basis of religion. On the basis of religion, even on the basis of language, religion, on the basis of caste, on the basis of creed, we will not show any kind of discrimination. Next, a strategy of non-interference. That was the aim of that state. State government, that is aim was not interfering. Why interfering the affairs of the religions? The religious, these peoples, they have their own religion. They can practice it. They can spread it. They can believe that religion. They can worship their own gods. There is no problem in our country because our country is a secular nation. Next, we studied the examples of Om Prakash Valmiki and Mr. and Mrs. Ansari. What are the sufferings that Om Prakash Valmiki got? What are the sufferings he suffered due to his Dalit community or Dalit caste? Om Prakash Valmiki was born in Uttar Pradesh, and when he was a small child, when he went to schools, the principal and the teachers won't allow him to sit with other children. He sat on the floor, on the door side, near the door side only he will sit there, and he won't allow to sit with other children. Moreover, he was asked to do all works in the schools, especially his physique. His physique means his body. His physique is not suitable to do these kinds of work, because big school ground asked by the teacher to see to that big school ground. This small physique is not suitable to see to that big ground. So this small boy is doing these works. His father saw this. Accidentally his father saw this, and his father became very angry. Om Prakash Valmiki's father became angry, and they went to school office and asked the principal about this matter. Then afterwards he said like this: my child, like my child, so many children will study. Like Om Prakash Valmiki is like so many children will study, they will get education from this school. What it shows, it means that he had a strong determination that like this Dalit children, so many Dalit children they will study in the same school and they will get education. That is a strong determination. So you understand. Then Om Prakash Valmiki, when he became a writer and a poet, that time he wrote autobiography Judan. In that book, he describes all the difficulties he faced in the school due to his caste, which community. There is a due to Dalit community, only Dalit community, only that reason he got these kinds of sufferings. He got these kinds of sufferings due to one reason. Which reason? He belongs to Dalit community. Next we discuss about Mr. and Mrs. Ansari. This Mr. and Mrs. Ansari did not get any room. Why? Yes, they belongs to Muslim community. That is the only reason they did not get a room. And they said they are ready to give rented room, rented house, but they must change their name. Why they asked to change their names? Otherwise, other peoples won't allow these people to live in that room or in that house. That is why they asked to change the room, to change the name of Mr. and Mrs. Ansari as Mr. and Mrs. Kumar. Mr. and Mrs. Kumar. If they change their name, definitely they will get role. But Mr. and Mrs. Ansari, they were not ready to change their name. They were not ready to change their name. Who were not ready to change their name? Mr. and Mrs. Ansari, they were not ready to change their name. They want to practice their own names and their own religion. That is why they got this religion. 1 month took to get the 1 month 1 month is over to get a room. So that I hope that you understood this all this concept. Today we will study about secularism and the importance of secularism. What is secularism? Why is it important in our country? Why we are in our country? How is the secularism that we will practice in our country? I hope that you understood all this concept very well. So that you can go to the textbook also, you read the textbook and you can get more ideas of secularism. Almost all the points I think that I have covered all the points. So that for understanding about the concept secularism, I explained about the stories of Om Prakash, Valmiki and Mr. and Mrs. Ansari. I hope that you understood it very well. Thank you children.